And this right here is what I would say bordering on cheap shot.
Lexi Hull was called for a moving screen, and a few seconds later, Clark gets leveled by Brittney Griner on a screen that isn't called as a moving screen when it so clearly and obviously was, where Griner is bringing her shoulder, look, into the play. Boom. And, Brittney Griner has a reputation for that. They ran a montage on the broadcast about people's welcome to the WNBA moment, and so many of them were Brittney Griner screen. So Caitlin Clark is not unique by being leveled by Brittney Griner.
Sometimes a single play can completely take over a basketball game, not because it changes the final score, not because it determines who wins or loses. Instead, it becomes the moment everyone talks about because it leaves viewers asking the same question over and over again. How was that not called? That was exactly the reaction during Indiana's matchup with Connecticut. It was the kind of moment that instantly ignites debate among fans, analysts, former players, and anyone watching the game.
Physically assaulted by Brittney Griner, aka the Dude, multiple times in this game.
The Fever ultimately secured an important victory. Caitlin Clark delivered another strong performance, and Sophie Cunningham came through with crucial plays when Indiana needed them most. Yet despite all of that, the conversation after the final buzzer wasn't focused on scoring runs, clutch baskets, or team execution. Instead, it centered on a single moment of contact that many viewers felt deserved a much stronger response from the officials.
Brittney Griner shoving Caitlin Clark. Brittney Griner just can't help herself. She has periods throughout the game where she just acts aggressively. Dare I say, too aggressive? Brittney Griner was letting Caitlin Clark know, hey, Caitlin, you ain't part of this club. You ain't part of this club. No matter what you say or what you do, just know.
Meanwhile, many viewers couldn't help but notice Sophie Cunningham's body language. To some, it appeared as though she had seen enough. Before diving deeper into the controversy, there is one question worth asking. If you had to describe Sophie Cunningham in just one word, what would it be? Competitive? Fearless? Loyal? Fever fans would likely have plenty of different answers, but one thing is certain. She once again proved how valuable she is to Indiana when the pressure is at its highest. At this point, physicality has become a regular part of Indiana's nightly experience, especially whenever Caitlin Clark is on the floor. Opposing teams know exactly what they want to accomplish. They want to pressure her. They want to disrupt her rhythm. They want to make every possession difficult and force her into uncomfortable situations and prevent her from getting into a scoring flow. Connecticut was no exception. As the game progressed, both teams were fighting for control when the moment that would dominate social media suddenly occurred. Clark was moving through traffic when she collided with Brittney Griner on a screen. The contact was significant, and Clark immediately went to the floor.
Caitlin Clark is playing defense. Brittney Griner lowers the shoulder and clocks her in the jaw. Like, I'm sorry, this is the shit that Conor McGregor did to Cowboy Cerrone that broke his face. Like, she drops her shoulder and then turns it in. Like, that is the only benefit of the doubt that you can give, is that Brittney Griner's 6'9", and maybe she didn't try to clock her in the jaw. As seen by this one right here.
Fans watching live were shocked by how hard the collision appeared. Within seconds, clips of the play began circulating online. Replays only intensified the debate. Depending on who was watching, the same play produced very different conclusions. Some viewers argued that it was simply a basketball play involving a player with tremendous size and strength. Griner stands nearly 7 feet tall, and contact can often look more dramatic because of her physical presence. Others strongly disagreed. They believe the collision went beyond normal basketball contact and felt that officials should have at least reviewed the play to determine whether additional penalties were warranted. Regardless of which side people supported, there was one undeniable reality. The play immediately became the biggest talking point of the night. Why the reaction was so strong. The frustration surrounding the collision was not solely about that individual moment. For many Fever fans, it represented something much larger. Throughout the season, there has been an ongoing debate about the physical treatment Caitlin Clark receives from opposing defenses. Supporters frequently point to examples where they believe she absorbs excessive contact without receiving the benefit of a whistle. Critics may disagree with that assessment, but the discussion has become one of the most persistent storylines in the WNBA.
It doesn't work. Freedom of movement does not allow you to stop before contact and shove somebody. Like, it is what it is, and I'm being real. Like, this whistle is horrendously awful. Like, this is minimum flagrant one.
Almost every week seems to produce another viral clip. Sometimes it is a hard screen. Sometimes it is a bump while driving to the basket. Sometimes it is a foul that sparks debate for days afterward. The result is a growing collection of moments that many fans view as evidence of a larger pattern. Because of that history, the Griner collision landed differently. Many viewers were not simply reacting to one play. They were reacting to months of frustration that had been building. When officials chose not to escalate the situation, some fans felt as though they were watching the latest chapter in a familiar story.
It was just an elbow to the face by a 7-footer. Wow. What's this right here? What are we witnessing? Oh God, these captions. I'm sorry. Hey. A grown man runs through Caitlin Clark, foul on Caitlin Clark. They hate her, bro.
The reaction became less about "that should have been called" and more about "this keeps happening." When fans believe they're seeing the same situation repeatedly, emotions naturally become stronger. That is exactly what unfolded following the collision. Caitlin Clark and officiating. To be fair, Caitlin Clark herself has never claimed to be perfect when it comes to dealing with officials. She has argued calls, she has shown frustration, she has received technical fouls. She has even acknowledged afterward that some of those technical fouls were deserved. One reason many fans respect Clark is that she generally accepts responsibility when she believes she has crossed the line. She does not pretend every disagreement with referees is justified. At the same time, many observers believe two things can be true simultaneously. Clark can occasionally become frustrated with officiating, and some of those frustrations can still be understandable.
So Caitlin Clark is the worst officiated player in the WNBA.
Those ideas do not contradict one another. Clark handles the ball constantly. She attacks defenses aggressively. She creates offense on nearly every possession. As a result, she is involved in more contact situations than most players. Every whistle becomes magnified. Every missed whistle becomes magnified as well. That is why moments like the collision with Griner immediately generate national attention. They are not occurring in isolation. They are taking place within a larger conversation that has been developing all season. The silence that surprised people. One of the most interesting aspects of the controversy was not what happened, but what did not happen. Many Fever fans expected a stronger reaction from the sidelines. They anticipated heated discussions with officials. They expected visible frustration from coaches and staff members. Instead, the game continued.
He did it twice. That idiot coach, Stephanie White, and those ethically challenged and paid off referees did nothing. Damn.
There was no prolonged confrontation, there was no dramatic scene, there was no extended argument that forced officials to defend their decision. For some viewers, that silence became almost as noteworthy as the collision itself.
She is physically assaulted to the point of criminality, game in and game out, without calls, as we are about to show. She is actually, in my opinion, as someone who has played, coached, officiated, watched all the crap,
Social media quickly filled with questions. Should coaches be more vocal when they believe star players are being treated unfairly? Should they challenge officials more aggressively? Or should they avoid risking technical fouls and maintain focus on winning the game? There are valid arguments on both sides. Some coaches believe emotional reactions can energize their teams and send a message to officials. Others believe remaining composed is the smarter strategy, particularly in close contests where every possession matters. Regardless of where people stand, the lack of a dramatic response became part of the story. Fans spent nearly as much time discussing what they did not see as they did discussing the collision itself. Sophie Cunningham takes over. While controversy dominated the conversation, Sophie Cunningham was busy doing something else entirely. She was helping Indiana win. The game remained competitive deep into the second half. Connecticut continued applying pressure, and there were moments when momentum appeared to be shifting. The Fever needed someone to step up. That someone was Sophie Cunningham.
But shout out to Sophie Cunningham. Sophie, too, guys. And the refs are definitely trash.
She knocked down a huge three-pointer, then she hit another. She attacked the basket. She made winning plays on both ends of the floor. Possession after possession, she delivered exactly what Indiana needed. Suddenly, a tense game began moving firmly in the Fever's direction. What made her performance especially impressive was the timing. The emotions surrounding the controversial collision could have distracted the team. Instead, Cunningham helped ensure the focus remained on basketball.
I think Sophie had like 11 points. How many points did Sophie have? Sophie had 11 points in 18 minutes, 4 or 5 from the field, 3 or 4 from 3. Yeah, bruh. She looked a little suspect.
Great teammates often reveal their value during difficult moments. When pressure increases, they respond with action rather than words. That is exactly what Cunningham did. Her contributions helped transform what could have become a frustrating night into a memorable victory. The performance. People almost forgot, lost amid all the discussions surrounding the collision, was another excellent outing from Caitlin Clark. That has become an unusual reality for one of the league's biggest stars. Sometimes the conversation around Clark becomes so loud that her actual basketball performance receives less attention than it deserves. Yet once again, she found ways to impact the game. She made big shots. She created opportunities for teammates. She handled defensive pressure. She controlled possessions and kept Indiana's offense organized. Most importantly, she continued producing, despite facing constant attention from opposing defenses.
Some of that stuff after the game, even called out a referee by name, which, Tyler Merkovich is the referee. She calls him Tyler here. They're on first name basis.
For that tech near the end of the game, or just what happened there?
Technical, I didn't need an explanation. I deserved it, but it was worth it. The delay of game made no sense. It felt like Tyler wanted to assert himself into the game, and that was ridiculous. So, just not a point in the game he needed to call that. I went and got the ball, went off my foot off the scores table, and then he gave us a delay of game, which is a team technical foul. So, you can ask Tyler. I don't agree with that.
That ability separates elite players from everyone else. Opponents can pressure Clark, they can make her uncomfortable, they can increase physicality, they can attempt to disrupt her rhythm. But even under those circumstances, she continues finding ways to influence winning. That resilience is one of the biggest reasons so many coaches, players, and analysts continue praising her impact on the game. When the final buzzer sounded, the Indiana Fever had accomplished what mattered most. They earned an important win. Yet somehow, the moment everyone continued discussing after the game was not a spectacular basket or a game-changing assist. It was a collision. So now the question shifts to you. Do you believe the contact involving Brittney Griner and Caitlin Clark should have resulted in a flagrant foul review? Or do you think the officials made the correct decision by allowing play to continue? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this discussion, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because the WNBA season continues delivering unforgettable moments that keep the entire basketball world talking.